Welcome. Too close to the mic. Welcome to episode 5 of the Racket House Podcast. I am Racket Club, John Gilman. This is where we discuss all things music and success in our fun corner of the world, helping to inspire, inform, educate, motivate, and keep hope alive for musicians, creatives, entrepreneurs, anyone else who wants to grow their brand in the music or creative spaces. Today, I'm very excited because not only do I get to sit down with one of my really good friends, one of the first friends I made when I moved to LA, but I also get to chat with a social media powerhouse who has somehow cracked the code on going viral. She has nearly 3 million social media followers across platforms. And when I first met Alex, Drachnik, Drax, she has a variety of names. She was a personal trainer, a nutritionist, a production assistant on major network TV, and a blossoming TikTok personality. This, of course, is after finding success as a bodybuilder, concert photographer. I'm sure there's stuff I'm missing there. So after getting 1 million TikTok followers in just 1 month, Alex has truly carved out her space in the social media world. Now she's the founder of Drax Social, a full-service production agency specializing in short-form content for major brands and personal brands alike. With a passion for entertaining and educating the world, Alex is here to share her story, her insights, tips, tricks, and all that good stuff on mastering the social media landscape, because let's face it, we all need help with that. Let's get inside the mind of a social media guru, Alex Drachnik. Woo! Yeah, I need a...
Insert applause here.
Yeah.
Laugh track.
Yeah, we need laugh track. Also, for those watching on YouTube, I have a fun surprise for Drachnik. I didn't tell her about this, but hold on one sec. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. No peeking.
Okay, no peeking. My eyes are closed, so you know I'm not peeking.
No peeking. No peeking. No peeking. I'll tell you when to open them.
Only redlining.
And for everyone listening on Spotify, they'll have no idea what's going on. They'll have anyone on Spotify has no idea what's going on here, but I'm pulling out some stops. In the spirit of my pink-haired friend here, open them.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Let's go. Now we're in the zone. Now we're in the fun zone.
John has a pink wig on, in case no one knows. By the way, Gilman, you can upload your videos to Spotify podcast. Didn't know if you knew that.
I'm only audio right now, but that is good to know. I will look into that. I'm driving people to YouTube for the visual.
Fine.
Spotify for the audio, but see, this is why I bring her in here, folks.
I want them to see me everywhere, us and our pink hair. I am dead right now.
Yeah, I think I'm going to keep this on for the duration of the episode here.
Please, please. And honestly, I like the sideways hat as well.
I feel like I'm like a weird version of Wayne's World, which you've also dressed up as. Like, I don't think I included this in here, but big cosplay girl.
Yeah, I used to cosplay at Comic-Con. That was my rise to fame before TikTok.
Yeah. Okay. So there are a lot of different directions we could go in here. Like mentioned, the intent of the podcast is to really help aspiring musicians out, no matter where they are in their career. Musicians getting to where they want to go, whether they're a part-time hobbyist and they want to make music a full-time thing, maybe they're a full-time musician and they want to figure out how to make more money in music, they want to get bigger bookings, more music signed, whatever their goals are. Those who have understood social media is a big part of that are starting to rise to the top. Those who are fighting it or who just don't get it are kind of falling behind. And I've even talked to artists as recently as last night who I reconnected with. A particular artist who had some music signed on the label I was at a couple of years ago. I was like, hey, how's your musical journey going? And he's like, well, I took a little bit of time away. I'm starting to get back into it. And I'm realizing how much the landscape has changed and how much of an uphill battle it's become. And I think part of that has to do with social media, right? Like it's this sort of, I call it a necessary evil. That might be offensive to you, but it's just like, it's this thing that artists have to do now. It's not just make the music. It's not just perform and get the bookings, but it's using social media as a tool to promote their art, to promote everything you're doing. So I know you're working with a lot of big brands now, but you've also spent time in the music space. You've shot massive festivals for the likes of Insomniac and things like that. So I guess my kind of first question is kind of like from where you sit and where you're sitting and kind of your perspective on the space. Talk to me about like how is music and how is music and social media intertwined? And like, what are some of the things that artists should really be thinking about as they think about social media?
Yeah, I mean, music in general has actually kind of followed me in my entire life. I got started shooting Warped Tour and like bands in the Bay Area growing up. So it's kind of followed me forever, ironically, and then started shooting everything for Insomniac. And I've worked with a lot of DJs because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you, artists are probably the hardest people to convince to use social media ever, ever, because you have someone like me, a creative, telling another creative that they need to do this other creative thing. And as a creative, you're stubborn and you're like, no, I'm not going to do that because it's not
Mm-hmm.
my idea.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the most common thing I've heard from like DJs, especially, is they'll be like, well, why do I have to do social media? Fisher and Calvin Harris and all these big DJs didn't have to do it. So why do I have to do it? And my response is, well, times have changed. Like you could have the best track in the world, but if you don't have, any traction on it or social media or pushing it out somehow, like how are people going to see it? Everyone's making music now. And because of COVID, everyone's a DJ. Um,
But
but
but there, I would argue a little bit. I mean, Calvin Harris, sure, he got big. He had some radio hits and some pop hits, and
okay,
like working with Rihanna and things like that. So like that helped his career, right? But
right.
Fisher is of the newer generation of artists too, and I would always see videos of him being a fool. But I'm sure you got a different perspective on that.
Well, yeah, he was always kind of a fool and stuff, but that's the thing. He wasn't, I don't know, for him specifically, I think he was like the first artist, I think, right, to get like nominated for a Grammy for his song Losing It, I believe, like of like in the, electronic world. And so that kind of like pushed the electronic music more to the top. I don't know. I just use him as like kind of like the start because you're right. He is
Mm,
still part of the newer world. But after him, I felt like it's been harder for artists to just magically blow up. Right.
yeah.
And there's like specific artists who crush it on social media and
Hmm.
it's helped them.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so the Fisher case, I guess he maybe I would take back the full act of fool part. Although he's got this goofy, he's built a brand on that sort of
yes.
like goofy, like always laughing at the camera. He's got the flick thing going when he DJs, and obviously his music it's always a hit. Like every song he puts out just always gets big. I think there are definitely some artists who probably can thank their career. Give a big thank you to social media. One that comes to mind for me is Mochak. Um,
Mm,
and I remember seeing, he did a Circle set not too long ago. And if anyone out there knows Circle, it's, these amazing performances by DJs all around the world. And then they interview the artist after, and he talks about social media. And I just remember even before I don't, I never fully embraced TikTok, or it took me a while to do it. But like I remember seeing his TikToks. It's like it was shot from the crowd. It wasn't the behind the DJ view. It was shot from the crowd. Very like energetic. He's just doing something. I just thought he was this random DJ, but he ended up blowing up. He also makes his own songs too, and he talks in this interview with Circle about how he owes a large part of his career to social media. So who else have you seen do it really well, and who can thank their careers in part to social media?
I mean, one that does really well right now is Justin Jay. I know that
Mm,
we've talked about him before, but
mm-hmm,
he's the whole point of being, doing social media and being an artist is like the days of like promo videos are over. Like, okay, nobody cares about this intricately shot thing. It's all about the personal content and like telling a story. And Justin Day does a really good job of like taking videos and then putting text on top that it's relatable and it's like at a house party or you're like, oh my gosh, I can't, watch till the end. John Summit joins me for this house party. A surprise. I don't know. It feels very personable and fun.
mm-hmm,
And I've also noticed on that topic alone, a lot of DJs have been doing a lot of like pop up sets at like beaches and random like coffee shops in the middle of the night and random places around the world. And then they're making content on top of that. Like What So
mm-hmm.
Not does a lot of that. Felix Cartel, all good friends of mine too. Like they all do these like pop up type of events that also curate good content. Whoa, relax, Mike.
Name
Um,
dropping some of her DJ friends, everybody. Yeah,
throw me
actually,
away.
I was on YouTube. I don't know, and the related videos. I see Blondish playing at Joe's Pizza in New York City, and then
Right.
she's really good at content too. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I love Justin J. I have a personal affinity for him. Funny small side story. I was living in Boston, and Justin Jay played like on a Wednesday night there because that's how Boston is. The big DJs come on like a Wednesday night. And my buddy Ken, who I'm now living with in Denver, he lived in Cambridge, walking distance from the venue. And we're like, hey, Justin, we're gonna have an after party if you want to come by. And we go back to his place, hanging out, minding our own business, knock on the door, and Justin Jay just shows up and he's like, hey, I'm here for the after party. But I describe Justin Jay's sets as a house party. I've seen him play it like cross up against Carl Cox was playing and Justin Jay was playing. And I went to Justin Jay's set and it was just like, it was like a bar mitzvah. It was so much fun. It was like, it was amazing music, but like just watching he opened for Fred again here.
I was just about to say.
Yeah. So he opened
for
for
social media.
Yes, he opened for Fred again last week here in Denver, 2 nights at this giant arena, the Ball Arena, and Fred hit him up to open for him. And it's not only, I think, because of Justin's music and his content and the fact that he's just like he's so about his fans. He does production classes, like he wants the next generation of artists to be successful, but Justin leads by example. And then Justin's posting these like emotional, like, oh my God, I just got asked by Fred to play this show. And it's so cute. And I love it because Justin Jay, in my opinion, he's been around forever. He's part of like the old Dirty Bird, crew and all that. So great example. Who else?
I mean, he was already big before, but I think it's a really good example. Diplo. Diplo's a great example of someone who has been making music for fucking ever. And I'm sorry if I'm swearing, but literally forever, and is producing forever, but he's also so up to date with social media. His social media is really, 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 really good because it's not just music and it's not just him like acting cool. He's like being personable. He's like, here's Diplo's Run Club. Oh, I went to Alaska. Oh, I went here. Also Burning Man. Oh, I know you're making fun of me at Burning Man. Like he's so in with the inside jokes on the internet that it's like really awesome because the more personal you can be and tie it with music, it's just like a win.
I agree. And that also just brought up memories of Dylan Francis, who,
obviously,
they're two peas in a pod, Dylan Francis and Diplo, but like Dylan Francis used to use YouTube and like do these things with like Taco Bell and like just hilarious skits. And he still does it. For as big as Dylan Francis has gotten, he's still promoting his music. He's still doing hilarious skits. He's, because you have to stay on the treadmill. We call it the technology treadmill. That was like a term in my college classes, but like you have to stay on the treadmill. You have to keep up. Our good friend Rami London Bridge from Space Yacht. He's been doing a really good job of posting content all across the board, but he did call out one, I think it was last week or recently, where he was shouting at artists being like, guys, look, Moby, who is a legendary dance music artist, producer, is posting about how he made this track years or decades ago and showing his vinyl collection, showing how he put it together. And he's like, Moby does not need to be doing this, but he's doing it and you should too. And that was the message. And I really, really admired that.
You know what other artists are killing it outside of electronic music too are a lot of like the Warped Tour punk rock bands because like emo music has made a huge comeback now that the older millennials can afford concerts anyway, but like Simple Plan, Papa Roach, all these like, and Nickelback, oh my god, Nickelback's been so funny, but they all have been, and Avril Lavigne has been crushing it on social media as well. But it's smart. Doesn't matter how big they were. It's a matter of like times have changed, and if you're a smart music artist, you're going to get with the times changing. And if your audience and new audience, like Gen Z is still going to be people that listen to you as well. Like they're on TikTok and stuff. And if you're part of the trends, it keeps going up. But I see all those emo bands posting stuff everywhere. It's so amazing.
Yeah. And that's great too, because we all like a variety of different music, and especially you love that punk rock era, and you're living
Avril Lavigne.
You're living your youth. Yeah. You're living your youth as an adult now. And it's great.
So nice.
But what's also really cool about this stuff is, excuse me, I'm burpy.
Nice.
You can promote a new song, but you can also like go back into your vaults, right? And like pull out stuff that you put out years ago, months ago, whatever, and like show people that stuff. And like, it doesn't always have to be like the latest and greatest. You can bring people through. You love talking about story time, right? You can tell stories about how you created the music or how things influence you and that sort of thing. And I'd love to kind of use that as a segue to talk about the content itself. Like, you talk about Justin Jay and like kind of how he kind of brings you into his world, right? With the content and these pop-ups, and you kind of feel like you're there. But What other kind of content do you find like most valuable coming from artists and creatives?
The most valuable stuff is honestly, at the end of the day, be entertaining, right? No one
Hmm.
wants to be sold anymore. The reason we love like TikTok and like short form video is because it feels more like you made it from your house, right? Like if Cardi B is posting a video of from her iPhone from her house, I'm going to be more interested than in some ad her team shot.
Hmm.
So I think, like as I said, like Diplo does a really good job of like story time, random stuff about his life. If you can make your own trend and stick with it. So for instance, like I think there's a guy who I don't know if he's a music artist or not, but he literally makes videos where he shows where a sample is originally from, and then he
Yep.
shows where the most recent song is using it, and it's like a history, but that's his entire profile. I mean, like if he's a music artist, cool, but still a really good concept. Um,
That's yes.
yeah. And
Yeah.
other ones that are really good are the ones that they'll make songs out of like trendy viral sound clips from like podcasts or movies or pop culture. So brilliant. It's so easy. And at the end of the day, people want to be entertained. I know everyone likes to like make all this other type of content, but the most popular content on the internet across the board is entertainment content. The number
Yeah.
one video on TikTok is literally Bella Porch bopping her head and lip syncing to a song, which means if you can get a song to go viral and Bella Porch makes his biggest video with your song, come on now. That's just money.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's
Success.
true. It's really true. I mean, I can think of so many examples. Like we loved the girl on couch, era, right? Like the looking for a man in finance, six
For man in finance. Trust fund. We literally made a video in Italy and it got over 1 million views.
Yeah,
Using this
yeah,
stupid
and
song.
I'm trying to finish up a JD Vance Childless Cat Ladies song too. So it's like I'm not doing, but I think to protect the integrity of artists and their music, there is a lot of discussion in this world around like creating music for social media to try to go viral versus being true to yourself in your art form and using social media as a tool to promote it. Do you have an opinion on those two things?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's like artists that make funny like parody songs on TikTok, but I don't know. At the end of the day, this is how I look at it. If you're actually truly passionate about what you do, you will find success and you will go viral with whatever you're trying to do if that takes 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. It took me like 10 years until I finally started like figuring out social media for real and going viral. And now I've got it. But like, I just believe the passion needs to be there. Don't just make content because you're like, well, everyone else does it. Like, actually make content about something you're passionate about and the success will follow. So that's my advice.
Wise words. Pay attention out there, folks.
Like I'm literally legit passionate about playing my Russian character on the internet because it's really, really, really fun. And I get to play this like alter ego. Do you know what I mean? Like I legit love it. I get to be like someone else and play this character, which this is a whole nother story, but that character I've been playing for 3 years has slowly helped me become more confident in my own self. And yeah, it's really cool. I fight club myself pretty much.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, that your 1 million followers in a month was from Russia, from Russia, from Sasha the Russian, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So I was
So
playing,
yeah. Alex, explain.
Okay, so long story short, been doing social media forever. And then I just created this character, Sasha, which is actually my name in Russian, Alexandra and Alexander is Sasha in Russian. And I just started making these skits. It was American versus Russian. And I was just having fun with it. It was like deep COVID. And I was just trying everything I could to see what would hit on social media. And this hit, but it didn't hit officially until I made 20 videos with it. Listen up. This is huge. If you like making something and the first couple videos don't go super viral, don't get discouraged. Like seriously, because if you like making it, keep doing it because you'll start to figure out exactly how it will go viral. Always A and B test. And by like the 20th video, it went dumb viral. And then I realized, hey, if it works once, it'll work again. So I created a series, which you probably see a lot of people do. And in 1 month, I had 1 million followers back in January 2021.
Yeah, it was insane. And like the funniest thing about being friends with you is going out with you and like walking down the street with you. And like, I think we were in line to go into like, what was it, Academy or something, the club in LA, and somebody in line is like, oh my God, Sasha the Russian. Like it was something like that. I don't know. I've seen it happen many times. And it's just like, yeah, you're a TikTok celebrity now.
Z-list, baby.
And not only are you a TikTok celebrity, you have now figured out how to monetize that and build a business around it. So, I mean, fuck, like, excuse my language, but I mean, it's so impressive because like, just to like, it's like you're the social media whisperer, and like, you know, I love that I can go to you and like just like kind of like ask you things, or you can kind of give me feedback, and it's great. And everyone out there should really try to embrace that and really try to understand like how you can take whatever you're doing today on social media and just get that to the next level, and try to educate yourself, try to watch trends, try to watch videos. I mean, that's the advice you've given me over the years, is like, find a video that you really like and try to like do what they're doing. I mean, it's oversimplified, but I wanted to ask you kind of, you know, you talk about figuring out how to go viral, like, you have this superpower, right? Like, and you help brands do it, you help individuals do it, you help music festivals do it. Like, what's how? Like, just walk us through that.
Sauce?
Yeah.
Okay, step one, have diagnosed ADHD. No. No, but seriously, ADHD for me has been a superpower. Growing up, I literally would try everything. I'd get bored of something and try something. And I was like, I want to do that and that and that. So my brain was all over the place. And then I worked, for those that don't know, I worked in TV and film in Hollywood for years, like working on long form movies and stuff. And I had convinced myself that's what I wanted to do, because it's like what I thought I wanted to do, because I loved being creative. But while this was happening, I was always doing social media and I always liked it. And I started on YouTube, but I still didn't like YouTube that much because the long form just doesn't click with my head.
Yeah, I remember that was one of the first things you told me. You're like, you were on YouTube like when YouTube started. Like, you've been doing this just for fun for most of your life. Yeah.
My first YouTube video was uploaded 15 years ago, and I have my old account to prove it all. My old account is all my old videos.
We're going to look that up after.
Please. They're so fun to look at. But then when TikTok, by the way, it used to be called Musical.ly, if those don't know that. And so I hopped on Musical.ly. Actually, random fact for you. Musical.ly DM'd me on Instagram. Now they're TikTok. So technically TikTok DM'd me on Instagram, on Instagram, and said, hey, can you join our new app? Because I used to do fitness training. And I was like, oh, whatever, I guess. And then I joined it, posted a couple videos. And then my friend started going super viral on Musical.ly. And she's like, you need to get on it now. And I was like, okay. Anyway, cut to TikTok. I think it just makes sense in my brain because I always liked the shorter skits and I always liked the shorter little jokes and stuff like that. And so the biggest rule with short form video is like, you got to hook someone in with the first 3 seconds because people have the brains of goldfish. And so the first 3 seconds need to like hook you in. You're not going to start by saying, hi, my name is Alex. I'm already swiping away. But if you're like, I don't know, you're like, yo, my goldfish caught on fire. I don't know why that's the first thing on my brain, but you see, now you're like, what is happening? You know?
Yeah. Like, I've noticed some people, some artists, especially doing, you know, the little trick to stop the scroll. Like,
what are some that you see?
Well, so even last night, I've become friends with James Patterson from the Knox. Shout out J Pat. Probably won't hear this, but he was promoting, I think, a new song of his, and he had a woman with a measuring tape and showing like the 3 inches thing. If you're smaller than this, and then it like cuts into him like promoting a song. I was like, that's fucking genius.
Oh, is it like the video clip before?
Yeah, so it's a random video clip that'll stop somebody from scrolling, get their attention, and then 3 seconds cut into whatever your message is.
Yeah, that's super trending right now. Everyone's using a lot of those, especially like real estate and car dealerships.
Yeah, I think the one that's interesting to me is oh my god, I'm blanking on their name right now. They're a DJ duo. But they do the fake Snapchat thing where it's like somebody like boyfriend brought me, or hinge date brought me home, and he's DJing. Is it
Sunday Scaries?
Yeah, Sunday Scaries.
Yes,
Sunday Scaries.
they're so good. I was gonna tell them that's a really good one too. They're crushing it.
But like, so I don't know if they started that trend, but I've now seen other people doing that, and like Smith and Soren, another duo I'm friends with, like, I think they've gotten like 20K on a video they did similar, where it was, you know, the Snapchat little.
Yeah, it's smart. Like, and the thing is, again, Sunday Scaries probably had one that goes super viral. And if something goes super viral, why would you stray away from it? Do it again and again, because it's going to go viral until it doesn't work. Or you're going to stuck being a Russian character for 3 years straight because it's the one thing.
There's more to you. There's more to you than the Sasha, and your videos are hilarious. And I've seen people copy your videos. The workout video, the X-rated workout video from Gold's Gym. I've seen people replicate that, or just, you know, throw it on and not tag you. But
Oh yeah.
what I in the spirit of like virality,
Mhm.
like going viral, what you do for brands, I think is really interesting because you're thinking outside the box. Like you're like I have this hot sauce here, right? And like you're like, okay, we're not just gonna like go and show a product video of you pouring hot sauce on a taco. It's gonna be like man on the street quiz. Like, I love
You
that you
read my
do stuff like
mind.
that. Yeah.
You read my mind. I would
Yeah.
literally go up to people and be like, I don't know, probably be like, if it was like a really hot sauce, I'd be like, okay, guess how hot this sauce is or whatever. I don't know. I think of something, but that's so funny. I would do that.
Yeah. And you've done like handcuff a brief. I don't know if that was part of the Sasha thing or a brand
That was
video,
part
but
of the
like
Sasha thing.
okay, yeah, briefcase, handcuff a briefcase to somebody, and like the video's far away, looking like watching it happen, But like, so
Oh,
talk to me about like how like when you work with brands, because
mm,
I am curious about this. So when you work with brands, are you guys
he's
kind
not
of like
curious about other things. Anyway, what?
when you work with brands, like what's the process like from I guess ideation? Do you guys all sit in a room and kind of brainstorm ideas and they're like, yes, that's the one, or you're like, no, I know this is going to work, take my advice, we're going to do this? Like what's that process like?
Yeah, so working with brands is a little bit more tedious because usually we work with brands that are pretty well established already. So they
Mm,
already have their brand voice, their brand message, what they want it to be like. What we do is when we come in, we're like, "Hi, we're the professionals at making social media. Let's deep dive into what you're doing." So like, you know, I just don't want to use one of my examples, I guess. Or, I will use my example. They love me. So one of my brands is Opry Nail. They invented Gel X, which are nails, right?
mm,
They already had a very well-established brand, but they just wanted more help on making content that was more relatable to, TikTok and Instagram. So we came up with, okay, you guys like to do education tutorials on how to do like application and stuff. But then also the reason you hire my agency is because we specialize in comedy because as I said a million times, entertainment is how you drive people in and then you
mm-hmm.
can build other videos where you educate them or teach them or do something else so it's not just like funny stuff, but
Right.
you want to drive them in somehow. So we do educational videos and then over like a couple months I had been like, hey, I think it would be really good if we did um comedy, like trends, like funny stuff. And then they finally were like, you know what, yeah, you're right, we want to do that. And then we started doing those and they did really well. Recently we also did like man on the street style stuff that was like more
Mm-hmm.
like personal and not just like nails only. It was like interviewing people about
You
nails.
interviewed me.
We did. But one of the videos we did recently at Anime Con ended up getting like 1.6 million views on Instagram, which was like our highest video with them maybe in a couple months,
Mm-hmm.
which was sick. And it was, again, an entertainment video. So basically, with brands, to bring this all back, is that you have to kind of like come to like a negotiation here. It's
Sure.
like dating, right? You have to be like, all right, we'll do what you do, but we're going to do it this way. And you kind of just negotiate and come up with a simple thing together. Yeah.
There's got
It's
to be a lot of sort of pressure to perform though, right? Or do they have kind of like this understanding that it may not hit every time? Like what do kind of what's the not to
what's
get too
that?
much into your like business,
No,
process
it's
or anything,
good.
but like, how do you keep them confident that what you're going to do is going to hit?
Right. Okay. So the first month of content, we always say it's A and B testing. We're coming
Mm,
in, like, we don't know exactly what's going to hit on your profiles because we have to like, we have to test what's going to work. So when we come in for the first month, we're like, here are like 4 different types of concepts that we're going to try and we're going to go hard in the paint on these because it's like, it's with my knowledge, like I know that these are proven methods or proven trends or proven
sure.
whatever that are going to work. Try them out. Maybe 1 or 2 work really well and maybe the others don't. Great. Okay, next month we're going to go a little bit more deeper on those 2 that worked and we're going to try another 2. So it just really depends. But with Opera Nails, like the educational tutorials worked so well. So obviously that's one of our pillars of content. Then we're like, all right, we're going to try more trends. We're going to try more man on the street, more like use the people that work at the office, relatable. So we basically are like, listen, we're not sitting here and going to guarantee that every video is going to get a million views. I just can't.
There's no way. Yeah.
That like I can't say that, but it could happen. But what we do ask is just we need to be consistent. We trust us with making your content. As long as you're posting at least one thing a day, you're staying on top of it. And then you hire us to be on top of the trends, the algorithms, understanding everything. Like I sit at home all day on like Instagram, TikTok, Threads, everywhere, just learning new tips and tricks, talking to my mentors, talking to other social media people. So you hire us because we
Yeah.
keep in the know.
You got to be learning, got to be staying on top of things. I was going to bring it
Nice.
back to
Love that.
I was gonna bring it back to like working, more in the music world, which you've done, right?
Yes.
So you've done social media for EDC, you've done, massive festivals, you've even worked with artists specifically. I wish I could get inside your brain because like I remember
Me
watching some of the
too.
things you were doing. Your one particular memory I have is you were walking around, I think it was EDC Mexico with a flip phone, like a
Yeah.
flip phone in 2024 or 2023, whatever, recent times when flip phones aren't used. And you were kind of bringing it back. You were like getting every major DJ to like either pose with it or do something goofy with it.
So fun.
So do you kind of take similar, I guess, how do you approach working in music and trying to help brands go viral versus brands, I guess? But
Yeah.
and then I was also gonna
different.
there, you raised one thing too that I'm gonna parlay into real quick is you mentioned posting every day.
Yes.
This is a big one that
Yeah.
I'm curious about because it's the classic quality over quantity, quantity over quality
Mhm.
type of thing, right? I believe personally, and I just got off a client session talking about my opinion of it, and you can tell me that I'm wrong, is quality with a garnish of consistency.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to tell you. You need to be consistent at first. It is quantity over quality until you figure your shit out, and then once you get that thing figured out, then you can switch over from quality to quantity. And I'll give you an example. When I was first blowing up on TikTok, if I didn't post at least 1 to 2 videos a day, I would have lost that fire, right? I was literally posting at least maybe like 1 to 3 Sasha Russian videos a day for a month straight, probably for like 3 months straight. And then I hit that million followers and I kept it up. But then I started getting more intricate, writing more scripts and collaborating with more people, which takes a little bit more time. But if I had not stuck to posting that much within that first month of like firing off, it would have like died down or I wouldn't have hit as fast. And then cut to today, I only post a new Sasha video maybe like 2, maybe 3 times a week. However, I've built up my brand to be other things like Drac Social, my social media company, and then I post personal stuff. But I now spend more time on the quality of videos because I kind of have in my brain, a higher expectation, which is great because I want to make sure that every video I post does go viral every time. Also, you're in the testing phase when you first start out, so you don't know. So that's just my thought process on that.
But with the caveat of not just posting random shit, like you still have to follow your process that you talk about. You have to have the hook. You have to have the value. You have to give something you have to give people something.
You need to post in the same world. So like, let's say like, for instance, I went viral as my Russian character. If the very next video I posted was me like working out as myself, people would be like, what the hell is this? And what really came to my brain when I first went viral with that one video was I was like, the reason you follow like people like Kim Kardashian or like these big celebrities is because you know exactly what they're going to post. They're going to post about like the makeup and the beauty products all like in that same sector. And if they started posting about like flying airplanes or something random, you'd be like, what? It just consistency with your brand and your niche is so key. So don't stray away from it. Like keep your content similar. Is my advice.
I will go back to my previous question first, but while we're on this, another discussion point came up today in a session with a client today, and it was about showing your face. Now, especially specifically with musicians and artists, right? There's all this emphasis on you need to promote your music. You need to, like, you can take a random video of you eating a taco or making food or like going and playing golf or something and just put your music over and that'll be something. But what is your opinion on like showing your face? And this also relates to like maybe artists who wear costumes or masks or something like that, because there's been a lot of back and forth with one particular client who wears a mask and it's like, should he show his face? Should he only stick to his brand with the mask? So talk to me about that very specific part of this.
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to like artists showing your face for your music, obviously more personable is better, but that like doesn't close the door. There are accounts that go viral and there are people that go viral where they never show their face. Maybe it's their hands. Maybe they're doing something specific. Maybe they're like talking in the mirror, but they cover their face with like a camera or something. There are people that have all sorts of different things. So I never close the door. You still just need to make it personable on some level, but if you make it a whole account based on without your face, it can work. You just have to get creative with it
Inconsistent.
and consistent. And then when it comes to people with masks, I think the mystery is what drives people crazy in the best way. And that's why they'll come back for more. Like, the whole thing, like, what does Marshmallow look like? And they had that whole few years where they unmasked like Tiesto and Marshmallow, and it was like Will Ferrell. It's like the mystery there. People love that. Versus like, like Dead Mouse, he was masked forever and then he would take it off, and now he just takes off all the time. It's like, we know what he looks like. But like, I don't know. I think if you're a masked DJ, keep it secret for as long as you can, because it'll drive the mystery up even more.
What if the secret's been revealed and they've spent their time doing both? They've taken the mask off and they show their face as a human to try to have that human component, and then maybe some of their performances or more studio sessions or things like that, they're wearing the mask. Like, have they ruined? Obviously, they've ruined the surprise, but like, which should they pick a lane now? Should they stay separate, or should they do both? Like, is it too late?
It's too late. No. Is it you, or do you have a mask on right now?
Just right now. And I'm really curious to see how this plays out when people start watching the content. But fuck it, who cares? But, I'm being me. I'm being you, actually. I'm being you.
My number one fan.
Yeah.
I don't have an exact answer for that, because I don't know this person and I don't know anything about them. So I can't just make like a general answer. And that's my answer. Like, try whatever, and whatever they want to do, just tell them, be like, all right, let's just try which way you want to go. But I feel like, I don't know, you could be the person that's both masked and unmasked. You could go one way, you could go the other way. I mean, there's so many options.
Mask off moments. Okay, well, I'm talking to him in about 30 minutes, so we'll discuss them. But okay, so the original question, like 2 questions ago, was like comparing how you work with consumer brands versus the music industry. And obviously some of the core principles are still going to be there, right? As far as like what makes a good piece of content, but are you approaching things in a bit of a different way? What's your thought process there?
Yeah, so my first client was Insomniac, which is awesome. I still do like contract work for them at festivals. The beauty with Insomniac is it's festivals that they hired me for, which was great. So festivals are obviously fun and lighthearted. So I have a lot more free reign to be weird and trendy, because basically think of it from a consumer's point of view, right? If you see your favorite festival like EDC doing one of the most updated trends on TikTok, you're like, damn, they are in with the times. I want to follow them. They get it. They're not just like, oh, some corporate. They're like, damn, they got some good Gen Z. I'm not Gen Z, but some Gen Z girl making their content and it's up to date. Like, it's like a cult following starts because of that. Like, I mean, to bring up another brand that isn't music, like Duolingo, for instance, they're a freaking language learning app, and they are the biggest and best like TikTok account because they're in with the trends and they do the most unhinged stuff. Like, honestly, if you're a brand, the more unhinged you can be, the better you will be off, which is hard to say to a lot of brands.
You gotta throw some curveballs at them. I remember when this is so random. I was visiting colleges in high school, and I went to go visit one particular college, and this girl that I was friends with brought me to like a frat party. And she was like, yeah, you just gotta like, if you're gonna like go hit on girls, you gotta bug them out. You gotta like, in not a creepy way, but like, you gotta be different. You gotta throw some energy at them and be like, who is this guy?
Yeah. It's true. But okay, going back to your question though, when I work with like music artists specifically, I will be honest, working with music artists is like working with like personal brands, like people. You have to build a relationship. There has to be some sort of chemistry there between you and the creative that you're working with, because there were some DJs where I was like, we get it. We're on the same wavelength. It works great. Boom. And then there are some other like DJs and stuff I worked with where it just like, they didn't get my ideas and I didn't get what they wanted to do. And you can't be creative for everyone. That's the thing about being creative, is it's like, it is very subjective. It's a very subjective, like, industry, because like what I think is creative and awesome, you might not think it is. So it's just like dating again. Like everything we do is just like dating. You have to build up the relationships and have like a synchronicity. So yeah.
And we're both single.
Heyo. Any hot guys watching?
She's available. Okay. So for artists to be successful on social media, creativity, kind of do something unhinged, use your music. You don't have to use your face. What are some of the best platforms? I mean, there's obviously a limited number of platforms out there, but like, have you seen
There's a
any particular?
million.
Yeah. Have you seen any particular platforms be better for artists than others, or kind of what's your perspective on that?
Oh my gosh. This is like, yeah, there's so many different answers here. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Instagram. Okay. Okay. Brace
Just
yourself.
go through them all. Let's hear it.
All right. Instagram's going to be your best platform to actually connect with your community and audience because Instagram's looked at as the highlight reel. This is where you post all your best stuff. You look cool as fuck on there. It's nice, whatever. And people can actually message you and comment and you comment back, whatever. I see a lot of videos going really viral for music on there.
Mm.
Now, TikTok is freaking brilliant for artists because hello, it started as Musically, a music
Mm-hmm.
app where you literally would have music on there. So I have seen like artists, like here's a good example. Rez is huge. She's been around forever, whatever. One of her songs that's super old went super viral as a trend like last year or the year before. It was like the June. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it went viral like 3 or 4 years after she posted it. You know what I mean? And so this is the thing about TikTok is everyone has an equal playing opportunity to go viral from other people making videos with their sounds.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, TikTok's been a lot harder these days ever since they announced TikTok Shop and they're looking for more like longer form videos, whatever. But I hope that doesn't discourage you from posting still because there are still a lot of amazing artists that get discovered from TikTok. A good one is if you guys know Russ, the rapper Russ, a lot of artists used to do those like music competitions, like finish the lyrics or like whatever. And this girl, Caitlyn, KTLYN from San Diego, entered the competition, had the best freaking bars, and then went on tour with him. I'm like a huge fan. I love success stories like that. They make me so happy and fuzzy inside.
Yeah.
And then YouTube. YouTube is honestly, I mean, one of the best and the oldest platforms, right? Like the long form is where it's at. And I've noticed artists like John Summit, for instance, he started to do long form vlog type of content where he's documenting his whole like backstage of this show, journey to this show, and giving a more like insight into his like touring life. And I think that's really awesome too. So it's just, there's so many different platforms. Those are just three, obviously.
Yeah.
Twitter.
I do try to.
What?
Yeah. I have personal opinions on Twitter now, but
the EDM community on Twitter is evil.
I was just gonna pause on YouTube because I think I'm trying to get artists to really lean into that one, and it's one of the only platforms out there where you can do short and long form content, right? And so it's been around forever. I did a post on this last week but Google owns it, right? So when you Google an artist and they have a good YouTube presence, those videos are going to be shown at the top of the results page. I mean, even someone like Tom Brady, shout out football, started using YouTube because he literally said in his video, he's like, yeah, I decided that, short 30 or 60-second videos aren't going to really show you enough of what I want to show you. So he started doing, more like vlog stuff and, day in the life stuff with Tom Brady. So I think that's really interesting. It's still the number 2 social media platform behind Facebook. YouTube is.
Yeah.
So it's really important. People are there. Your audience is there. And then you can use things like advertising to grow your channel, grow your audience, and then you can monetize that stuff. So artists, guys, girls, everyone listening, you can make money from music. You just got to do it in the right way.
And also, if you think social media is stupid and YouTube's stupid, literally Marshmello has a cooking show on YouTube. Do you know? I don't think people realize that the reason Marshmello is one of the biggest DJs in the world, worldwide, is because he doesn't just do music. He has a freaking YouTube cooking show. He has all these other brands that he does things with and all his social media. And that's why he's huge in India for his cooking show. Like I talked to a bunch of people about this, but it's like, okay, Marshmello does social media all the time and you guys are complaining that you have to make a video. Like, come on now. Like,
I mean, yeah. And also I remember being at the Halloween store last year and you can buy a Marshmello costume too. I mean, this guy's printing money, but wait, hold on. Cooking with Marshmello? I actually have not seen this.
What? That's just like, what? You don't know?
Whoa, we're loud here. Okay. 3 million subscribers on Cooking with Marshmello. Ostrich egg fried yolk with pineapple hot sauce. 120 million views.
Dude, Here, if you're an artist, I'm going to give you some free advice here. If you're a music artist, make content that doesn't have to do with your music, but like make it like if you were like Marshmallow, you're like, hi, cooking with a DJ today. And it's like a whole series of just cooking with a DJ. Or like
Yeah.
do something different that's entertaining that makes you stand out. That's like the biggest thing. Like don't copy everyone else and like, oh, I'm just going to keep posting clips from my live show again and again. It's like, okay, but like add some more value, give some more
And
entertainment.
his artist page has almost 60 million subscribers. So this dude, now here's a question. Do we think that the guy who DJs and produces as Marshmallow is the chef who cooks as Marshmallow?
No comment.
She knows something. She knows something we don't know. Okay. I wanted to play a game. Oh yeah, here it is.
You want to play?
Well, we can play a few. You're always playing games, but
playing games with my heart.
I mean, I was asked this question, and I probably know the answer. And the way you're going to frame it too is like, you know, okay, an artist. It was basically this scenario is I've been using Reddit a lot to kind of engage with people, especially around the music world. And I did an AMA. I was like, hey, ask me anything. And somebody was like, okay, there's two artists. There's artist A and there's artist B. Artist A makes Grammy quality music. Like if people knew about it, they would win all these awards. But they do zero to promote it, to market it, nothing. So nobody knows it really exists. Then there's artist B who makes like mediocre music, but they are all over social media. Which one's going to be more successful in 2024?
I mean, definitely the one that's all over social media.
Yeah.
Yeah. You already knew the answer to that. It's like, yeah, it's like, to give you another example, sorry, real quick. Didn't Justin Bieber get discovered from YouTube, from Usher? There you go.
No, yeah, I knew. And Ellen, wasn't it Ellen? Or he was on the Ellen show?
Something. But do you see what I mean? And that was so long ago before like TikTok was around. That it's like even then people are getting discovered from the internet. So it's like now with even more platforms, you could change your life with one video. Do you know what I mean? Like one video could literally change your life. And if you're just sitting at home all day being like, oh, well, I hope my ex-girlfriend doesn't see that video. It's embarrassing. Like who the fuck cares? Just make the video, just post it.
I do think that is a thing. It's like getting out of our own way, especially the like creatives are very, we're interesting people and we're all built in different ways. Right. And like, I'd had clients and, artists that I work with that help develop their music careers. And this sort of like either understand like awareness that they need to be using social media as a tool, but kind of like either timid or scared, or they don't want to make cringe content. They maybe don't want to talk to the camera. I'm like, you don't have to. Like there is also this belief that like you have to follow a certain format, I have to do certain things in order to get where you want to go. And it doesn't have to be that way. It's just more about being yourself, being what makes you comfortable, highlighting hobbies. I love to call out this story about one of my clients, Vinny Disco, who I did a case study on. And I didn't know this. We were friends before we started working together, but great DJ producer, but he paints. And I didn't know this. And so he had this new song that he was going to be releasing. It was a Fatboy Slim edit that he made. And it's like a drum and bass track. And he literally just, we came up with this idea, and he took a video of him doing a time-lapse video of him painting on a vinyl record. And the song was playing over it. And this was the best performing video he's ever posted on social media. He's not, a big social media user. He's getting more into it. But more views, more likes, more comments, and people DMing him, not only asking for the song itself and when's it coming out and how can I get it, but hey, can I buy that piece of art? So now not only do we have this unique way of kind of differentiating himself from all the other producers out there, but we also have like a business idea. We have a revenue stream of like selling your art or using your art as your physical art, your painted art as incentive. Like, hey, like first X amount of people to download the song gets one of my paintings, or you'll be entered into a raffle, you get a discount or whatever. And so that's like these sort of bigger brand ideas that I encourage artists to think about, because everyone's like, we want to make money in music. People are figuring out, it's trying to figure out how to do that. And if you get away from just like releasing music and playing shows and thinking outside the box, there are ways to do it. I have a bunch of questions, and we're gonna start asking some. So, what are Well, I was going to ask, a time you became a fan because of their fan of an artist because of their social media. You already mentioned Justin J. Were there any others that came to mind specifically because of their social media you became a fan?
Um, I couldn't really think of any off the top of my head because I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I discovered Levity because of their social media, so that would be a good one. I love them to
I would
death.
say one that I
Yeah,
absolutely
what's one?
adore is Hayes, Heyz,
Oh,
here based here in Denver. He's a dubstep DJ. His
mm,
videos absolutely crushed me, like so
you'll have to
funny.
send me some.
Yeah, Hayes his at is like Hayes HEYZMC or SMC Hayes SMC. I should probably get that right since I'm talking about him. But let's see here. But like there was one video in particular where he's like he does these things where he like pretends he's DJing for a crowd, but he's like there's nobody in front of him. He's like on his balcony at his apartment in Denver, or he's literally DJing on the side of the street and it's like free dubstep show and he's like, "Yo, what up people?" And it's just like cars driving by and then this one dude stops and he's like, "Dude, your music fucking sucks." He's like, "Yeah, thanks man. Thanks for coming out." Just like
That's funny.
total self deprecation.
Yes.
Hayes HEYZMSC. Hayes, and now he's doing a tour. He's got 50,000 plus followers. He's got Team Wasserman. If anyone who knows
Sick.
Team Wasserman, I mean, he
Yeah.
has a booking agent now, and that is a huge step for any artist because if you can get a booking agent, that means you're going to be getting gigs. That means you're going to be getting paid. So that's a big thing. But he was doing Lost in the Haze tour all around the country, and even playing like Lost Lands Festival, which is huge. He's got this one video of 4,400 likes and how many views? Let's see. He's got,
I
yeah,
wish you could share your screen with us.
tens of thousands of views. No, nobody can see my screen. I don't want them to see that.
Rude.
Do free sample show and have somebody listen to his dubstep music, and the guy's like,
Mm.
"What the hell are you showing me?" Okay, back to this. What are 3 non-negotiable tips for every artist, creative, or entrepreneur?
Okay, 3 non-negotiable tips. 1, make content. Literally just post it. I honestly just start making stuff and posting it. 2 would be to consistently post in the same niche. Stay in your niche unless you're switching. I used to be a fitness influencer or fitness coach, whatever, and then I did skits, but I switched it over very gradually. I was like fitness comedy content to comedy content. And then the third one would be a third one is collaborate with other people. Honestly, I think that is the biggest thing you could do. A lot of people, there's a lot of, people who make social media don't like collaborate with everyone, but I think collaborating with people, you learn a lot. And then you also, I don't know, there's just something when 2 of your favorite online personalities make a video together. Like it's just so exciting to see. But
Yeah, so you're saying like actually like shoot the content with them in person rather than just like 2 people from across the world like literally pushing the
I
collaborate
mean,
button.
you can do that too. I think that's awesome as well, actually. But if you can meet up in person, it makes it even better. Like when I was first blowing up on TikTok, I collabed with so many different TikTokers. It just like elevated my videos. I just personally think for me, my videos do awesome when I have other people in them.
Yep.
It just adds more. It's like shooting, a real skit. So
Yeah, it's funny for those who don't know Drax the way I do. I mean, like she like would go to these like TikTok house. There's like TikTok houses in LA. LA is so built different, but
so
yeah,
weird.
there's like influencers all living together. It should be a reality show, honestly.
It was. It's a reality TV show on Netflix
Okay,
called The
so
Hype House.
shows how much I know. But I think the point of collaboration too is I actually think this is a good sort of thing to mention for artists in even producing their own art. And it's not just about collaborating with somebody. Like I'm a big strength in numbers guy, and I know like where I'm really good at things and I know where I'm not very good at things. For example, I grew up playing drums, and when I produce music, like the rhythm section is always the thing that comes to me the easiest. The bass, the drums, all that stuff. When it comes to like melodies and more of that, like I know that that's a bit of a weakness of mine, and I know that if I collaborate with somebody who maybe is really good at that kind of stuff or can help balance out the track, not only are we going to make a really good track together, but then the promotion piece, which ties into the social media piece,
Mhm.
we get to collaborate on stuff. We get to collaborate on posts, and we get to reach double the audience, right? Their network plus my network. And that has a wider reach, that has more options for creativity with the content we put out there. And it's just overall better success rate. So I think that's a really good piece that you mentioned there about collaborating with other people. I would love to know.
No.
Speaking of creativity,
No.
I would love to know, who are you dating? No. If you were to develop your own social media platform, what would it be? What would it be called? What would make it different from all the other existing ones out there? Why should we use it?
It would be called MySpace. Honestly, I don't know. That was a tough question for me to even think about because I don't know. I like even before TikTok was coming around, I was like, what's going to be the next platform? You know, I think
Yeah.
more so this question, I'm going to change your question to
Change my question.
what do you think and what do I think is going to be the next big social media platform after TikTok, I guess is more the real question because right now, you know, we had Instagram photos, then TikTok, you know, did the short form video and everyone stole it. But there hasn't been another big one, and I feel like there's always a new one every like 10 years. So
yeah, and also like in the music space, I feel like TikTok was maybe the last big disruptor too, if you think about it. I mean, we've both talked offline about the fact that we really like Threads, Instagram
I love
Threads.
Threads.
Yeah, and it's not new or game changing, but
It's like Twitter.
I do think it's a better version of Twitter. I think I get the most random push notifications on Twitter that are just so, I roll my eyes every time and I just don't spend any time there anymore. But Threads, like you can almost like speak to the algorithm. Like when I first moved to Colorado and I did did a post on this, but I was like, hey algorithm, connect me with all the Colorado music heads and like let's chat or whatever. And I got dozens of responses, everyone from producers, DJs, a guy who does artist relations for a bunch of the clubs out here, who then ended up connecting me with somebody who does booking, who then ended up booking me to play. You know, this one producer, I ended up going over his apartment one night. And he showed me all this music he's been working on, and we talked. You know, so it's like it was really cool to like be connected with those kinds of people. Threads is really interesting to me because I don't know what's going to hit or what's not going to hit. Like sometimes my posts get a ton of engagement, sometimes they don't. But I really encourage artists to use it. My whole like mantra is for artists to be networking online and offline. You want to build your brand, you want to be a face in the place, you want to get, you know, bookings and just be known. And, you know, you can't be everywhere all at once. So when you're not out in person,
Yes,
when you're
can.
not okay, maybe they can if they're marshmallow. But if they're not out in person, then use tools like Threads to connect with people. It's a really good community tool.
Yeah, and oh my god, I love Threads so much because it's still really new. It's about a year and a half old, and it's like the wild, wild west. Like no one knows what's really working on there yet, so there's trying everything, and there's not a lot of hate on there yet. There's not a lot of spam on there yet. The algorithm is still fresh and new, and it pushes your stuff. Like anyone can make a Threads, anyone can have an equal chance to go viral. You just need to use it, and they've offered bonuses, which really pushed me back on. And now I'm like, Threads is like my personal public diary. It's really fun. I'm like, in my brain, I pretend that I don't think that anyone I know follows me on there, but they do. They definitely do. But I shit post and post all kinds of crazy shit all day, and it's so much fun.
Unhinged, yeah.
Also, reply to people. That's how you also go viral. I don't know if you know this. Like your replies on people's threads can go viral and boost you up. So.
Oh yeah. People see your replies. Like that's kind of how like Twitter was working too. But to answer your question, if I could predict the future, I'd be a really rich person. You know, it's hard for me to say like what's the next big thing or what's the next trend. Like I remember hearing a Diplo interview years and years and years ago. I think he was on like NPR or something. And musically, Diplo has always been known for like creating something new sounds. I mean, he is Major Lazer, and like think about what Major Lazer did in the electronic world. Which wasn't incredibly new. They kind of fused a few different genres, but he was always trying to like go around the world and hear music that people aren't listening to or hasn't been popular yet, and like sample from that and sort of borrow from that. So I don't know. You know, I think like
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I think like for me and what I do with you know strategy and my artists and everything like that is more thinking about like, how can we use social media as a tool, but then how can we create our own way to engage with our fans, because we can't always do it with those platforms. There's this concept of rented versus owned platforms, or rented versus owned media, that I was turned on to by a guy whose newsletter I read, and it was basically like, the free stuff, the Instagram, the Spotify, all that's rented, right? We're not getting all the data that we need. We don't know who our true fans are, at least with Spotify and things like that. But if we can create a place for them to come and we actually can collect their data, we know who they are, and then we can then engage with them directly. That is always also a way to do that. So I'd love to see like ways to maybe for artists to do that. I mean, you can do that through your own, gated websites or email lists or things like that. Have them come out to shows, do meet and greets, things like that. But I don't know. I can't predict the future, Drax. So
I wish I could too, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just going with the flow and just signing up for every social media platform that comes my way.
Okay. Well, we're gonna keep doing that for sure. Yeah, I mean, I got a few more. Like, anything else you sort of want to cherry pick from, what we've talked about today already, or what you think like artists and creatives really need to know? I mean, like, yeah.
Yeah.
AI and automation. Ooh, AI and automation. That could be an interesting one. How do you think?
I think the AI automation stuff is pretty cool. I think like with the AI can start editing and writing you scripts and stuff like that. I will tell you right now, utilize ChatGPT. It is your best tool in the game right now. Like, I literally utilize ChatGPT to help me write captions, come up with ideas, like help me write scripts. But I'm not like fully like using that script. I'm like, hey, I have this and I want to create this. Help me start brainstorming ideas. And then it sparks my creativity. And I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Then I use ChatGPT to help me write the scripts. I'll literally put in all the lines and I'm like, help me make this like sound or look better. And I help ChatGPT help me write things, write emails, like come up with all this stuff. It is a game changer. I'm obsessed with ChatGPT. So I use it for everything. Literally, I'm like, how do I write an email in this professional setting saying this? Like, seriously, it saves me so much time.
Okay.
As far as like, I know like we've talked about before, like, I think this platform that we are being recorded on, it like automatically cuts up clips and stuff like that. And I've definitely used services like that before for like some of my clients where we'll have stuff like cut up clips. And I think it is very valuable. However, I will say having that human touch is it's the sweet spot sometimes. Like I don't know. I do love the AI, but I also know that like editing stuff myself, there's a human touch that AI hasn't been able to.
No one can edit like Drax, and until we robotize her, it's never going to happen like that. 3 things that artists, and we're going to wrap soon here, but 3 things that like, what are some of the icks, like some of the like social media icks that you like, stop doing this immediately? Like, you talked about the 3 things you should do, right? But like, stop doing this.
Thirst traps. Like, literally the days of being a thirst trap 21-year-old fuck boy is over. Just stop it. I literally can't stand it. I'm like, stop. And it's funny because there's still people that make thirst traps and aren't parodying them themselves. Honestly, I don't judge too much on the internet, to be completely honest. And also my feeds are curated for me. There's something on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it. I don't know. What are some of your ex while I think about my ex? I can't think of them right now.
Well, I've been trained by you. Like, I feel like I've unofficially been trained by you. So like, when there's like a video about like, about nothing, like there was, I'll try to keep this as anonymous as possible. Like there's one particular artist that I was really excited to work with. We didn't end up working together. He decided to go in a different direction, more specifically focused on social media. And whatever agency he hired, I don't know. I don't understand what they're advising him on, because I'm not really getting it. It's a lot of like, hey, I'm so-and-so, listen to my music. And that's kind of like, the post. And I'm like,
those are the X for me too. Yes.
But it's not just one of those. It's just like, it keeps happening. It's like, I'm trying to get to X amount of followers. And when I try to get to X amount of followers, I'll release this track. And I'm like you're talking to the people who already follow you pretty much right now. Like, you're not blowing.
That's the ick.
There we go. We got
There's
the ick.
another one. Dude, I hate when people are like, I'll drop. It's like, stop. Just stop.
Just do it. Just release it.
or people that are where they're like clickbaiting you, but it's not a fun clickbait. If it was like a good clickbait from YouTube, cool. But if it's like that type of content is so freaking annoying. It's so spammy and just like shut up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we found some icks. Let's end on a positive note. Like
Okay.
give artists and everyone listening out there, like give us hope for the future. Like tell us that
Yeah.
we're gonna blow up. Tell us that our music's gonna be heard by billions. We're gonna make money. Like tell us that social media is the most powerful tool right now, or one of them. And you know, like just give us that sort of like closing TED Talk thought.
No, yeah. If you're a music artist or anyone listening, or you're aspiring to make music or content or don't know where to start, best thing you could do, just start watching content, start liking content, start curating your feeds to be content that you like, and then just start making it. Biggest thing, stop caring what people think about you, because guess
Yes.
what? When you start to go viral, all those people who are just hating on you are going to turn around and be like, "Oh my God, can I get guest list to your show?" Like, and you're going to be like, "No." But just start posting, just start making content, just be you. Don't let anyone else tell you what to do, especially with artists. It's like you making music coming from the soul. So like make your content come from the soul too. And you will
Yeah.
go viral. It will happen. It will.
And I would also just caution, it's easier said than done too, but like
Yes, it is.
that stuff's easier said than done, but also the when the hate does come, because
Mhm.
unfortunately it does come, people hate them because
Yeah.
they ain't them. Just let it bounce off you. You know,
Yes.
I'm rubber, you're glue. Everything you say bounce off me and sticks to you. So
I can give you some quick advice on haters, because people always ask, like, what do you do about that?
yes,
Listen, the best thing you could do, you know that segment where celebrities read mean tweets?
yes,
I used to do a segment called Sasha Reads Mean Comments, because I used to get a lot of hate comments at the beginning, and I let it get to me for like 5 seconds. And I was like, hold on. These are people that are sitting in their basements at their mom's house in the middle of nowhere trolling you. Stop it. So instead, I use their comments to make content, and which then I monetize. So thank you,
yes,
haters. You just
yes.
gotta like you have to be okay with making fun of your own self is kind of like the
Shh.
biggest thing here. Like
That's
be
why I
okay
like
with
you.
it.
That's one of the many reasons I like you. Not only is she able to laugh at herself, she's able to make money doing it. So big, 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 big thank you to Alex Drachnik. Drax
Thank you.
Social. She is absolutely killing the game. Go follow her on every social media platform possible. Go follow her on Drax Social. You're going to learn tons of tips and tricks. She's doing a great thing for brands and industry and people, and just a great friend overall. And I hope to see you soon.
Thank you. You're so awesome and so kind. Yay.
All right. Well, episode 5 is done. Oh, we're just gonna pose for the camera, and I'm gonna screenshot this, and it's gonna be used. And 1, 2, 3. Hey, I love this stuff.
I was like, am I ready?
Yeah, you're ready. Don't worry. All right. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening to the Racket House Podcast.
Thank you.